it's Ben.
Blaze.
Sam.
Damien.
And we're going to be talking about some of the major changes going on at South Milwaukee High School.
This could be about carpets, funding, schedules, etc.
As well as some of the changes going on in cheer.
I can't do it because my fucking thing's
And
okay.
also talking about the retiring teachers and their future and the recent 20-year anniversary of our PAC and Horizon testing participation. Expect to hear a lot of different guests like teachers, students, and staff members.
And they'll give us insight on details of each topic that they know best of.
We have here Mr. Arndt and Mr. Termont, and we are going to be interviewing them about some of the school changes that are happening next year and some of the things that happened this year. For both of you, we do know that there is changes to funding. So what are the changes of funding going to look like next year, and what kinds of things might these affect?
So what do you, I guess the question is, are you talking like from the state level and the federal level?
Yeah.
I don't know that we would be able to answer that question quite yet.
Okay.
No, I don't think, we know that, the only thing that we know is that some of the federal funding is going to change, and nobody has really come out to say what exactly that looks like. And that specifically impacts different programs at all school levels, right? So not just the high school. And ultimately, as we've gone through our budget process, we've worked on some just internal measures as far as making sure that we're allocating funds in the event, we have funds to allocate in the event that certain dollar amount gets cut out of a certain, so that we're still able to provide the programming that we are at the same levels that we're providing.
We're still going to get the funding from the state that they have committed to.
Mm-hmm.
It's the federal area, I think, is a little bit different, and it's more of it's difficult to understand with grant money that helps pay for certain areas.
And
That's a little unknown.
Most of it is tied to, there's 4 different title funds and some funding for students with disabilities.
On to the next thing. Schedules next year are obviously very different. What was your guys' process as to thinking of how schedules for next year were set up?
What part about the schedules? The bell schedule, the addition of advisory, or what?
What made you guys decide to add in the rocket hour for next year as the unified study hall?
She just named it.
Yeah, rocket hour, right? So there you go. So Mr. Termont can talk more about what previously was in place. This is actually the first year that we haven't had one, from my understanding. Obviously I'm new this year, but this is the first year that we haven't had one, and it's really the common advisory or rocket hour or whatever we call it, whatever it ends up being called, is just to be able to provide a more structured study hall that gives students access to all teachers at the same time, right? So you can do a lot of different things with that. You can from goal setting, and you can do a lot more academic and career planning. You can start incorporating, clubs and activities in some of those pieces. You can do direct interventions, so if you need to go see your English teacher, that your English teacher would be available to help during that time. They can set that up. You sign up for those things, and then that all plays into part of it. So really what we're talking about is a really structured study hall piece that goes in there so that you can actually get help and assistance. Because right now, if you happen to have study hall, but your teacher, your teacher that you need help from isn't on their prep or anything like that, they may not be available to help you. And so really that's a lot of it. We can also do a lot more in terms of skills and other group things that we could do within there, from relationships, social emotional learning, like I mentioned, academic and career planning before. Certain test prep things could happen during some of those times. There's just a lot of flexibility to get even more assistance to students, and give more opportunities to students as well with having a period like that.
I think this is an evolution of, so before you guys got here, we had the block schedule.
Yeah.
And it was determined that it wasn't beneficial for the majority of the students. Even though some said they really liked it, but the grades, we just weren't seeing the success we thought we would.
Yeah.
So instead of just doing a real quick change to a regular 8-period day, we kind of did this evolution of, we had Wednesday and Thursday were block days, and then all of a sudden we had advisory 2 days a week, and we had study halls, which is kind of doing the same thing.
Yeah.
So this is just an evolution to get rid of study halls and get back to that advisory period, which I think you guys really, really need that opportunity a couple days a week to go see teachers and have conversations and complete assessments and do
make up things. And from the process standpoint, we had talked to students, but this is feedback that's been acquired over a couple of years. We also had a teacher schedule committee that was that really kind of looked at and dove into this and really started looking at where to place it, when to place it, what was some of the priorities, and this was one of the top priorities coming out of that committee to get this back into the schedule. So we were able to make it happen for a lot of those reasons.
Honestly, I felt that a lot while we were doing this podcast. It was us trying to like find out like which teachers were available during like our 5th hour and 7th hour and our lunch.
Yeah.
It was a lot of like running around and not being able to find anyone.
And now you know what it's like for someone who wants to finish a test, but their study hall 6th period, but the teacher has a 3rd period, so they couldn't get there because everybody doesn't think that they can go after school anymore, even though it's available.
Well, and it's tough, right? And it's tough sometimes after school. People work or you're involved in after school activities or sports or whatever else it may be. We understand that, so giving that structured time within the day is important.
Yeah, definitely. Next year, we heard that there's gonna be a bank opening up in the school. What kind of went into that, and like, was it just like a this year planning thing, or was it something that
No,
was
they've been
over
trying
years?
to do that for years. Slight clarification, it's a credit union, it's not a bank, so a little different.
A little,
But that's been, and he's been working with them more, but that thing is actually, that was literally a plan for when they built this building. That
20 years ago.
That little room outside of the library was the original plan.
What I found out yesterday is there actually was one in the old school.
Oh, I didn't know that.
There was one before this school was built, there actually was a small little, ultimately it was kind of like a box. But it was in the old school that I was informed of yesterday when I was over there. But here, what happened is as this had been being planned, Mr. Daniels, who coordinates our youth apprenticeships, had some discussions with our business department, so Mr. Fix, Mrs. McCarty, and Mr. Johnson. And they went toured other places. So the schools in Racine have them, the schools in Kenosha have them. There's one at Hamilton High School in Milwaukee as well too. And really they looked at partnerships. And really it's been a partnership with Educators Credit Union, who really funds all of the construction pieces to it. And then they actually open a branch, and they actually have hired 2 of our students as apprentices who will be working as tellers, and then they also commit one of the individuals from the South Milwaukee Educators branch to come here and be the banking person, right? So they'll actually be the one who, if somebody wants to get a loan, if somebody wants to check on their mortgage, if something like, so this is available to students, teachers, they want to learn about things. It's all part of personal finance that Educators also has important pieces that they want to be able to do and help out and educate, and you've seen them here quite often, and we'll see more of them, but all part of that process. So the bank will be open 3 days a week during lunch hours, so from 10:30 to 12:30, somewhere in between that general area, for students to do and students and staff members to be able to schedule appointments or do banking needs if you needed to withdraw cash or anything else like that. And it's going to go right outside of Orbit, between Orbit and the library. And so yeah, it's been a really good movement for us to be able to do and create that partnership, and it provides opportunities for all of our staff and students to be able to do things during the course of the day and learn about that, or open bank accounts for some students. even
Well,
too.
I bank there, so
Yeah.
it'll be awesome.
Yeah.
For me.
So you're gonna be able to, yeah, so like if you need to deposit a check or do anything else like that, it's all right here, it's all available to you. And like I said, I mean, you can do anything, it has the same full functionality as if you went to the educators in South Milwaukee or wherever any of their branches are.
As stated in the question before, you guys said this building has been around for 20 years in itself, and Mr. Marino gave us the inside information of new carpets are finally being placed in.
Right, they are.
Not all of them are going to be, but there is.
It'll be a
there are
process,
some,
it'll
yeah.
take some time.
Because obviously there's some money that has to go in, you gotta be able to pay for it.
Yeah.
So yeah, actually we were just having a conversation about that yesterday, and so that we are starting in the first floor main hallway. And we're actually, you guys can have the inside scoop, we're actually removing carpeting and we're putting in more of like a vinyl, like a luxury vinyl flooring instead, so that one, easier to clean, right?
Yeah.
Easier to clean, easier to maintain, lasts significantly longer, doesn't look as worn and weathered and things like that as it goes through that. So that, and we're actually removing some of the locker banks that are out there, like so some of those island banks that are right out there, because right outside where the bank is, just to kind of open up that space a little bit more to kind of see that, and it just looks a little bit better that way. But yeah, so we're starting there, and we'll have we've got kind of a systematic process to go about through that. And so as funds become available to that, it'll be a systematic process to get every.
It's gonna take several
every
years,
Yeah, it'll
Yeah.
take
but
some
it'll
time.
get done, it'll get done.
Right, so it'll take some time, but we're pretty excited to be able to do that. So main areas first, and then like pods and hallways that are off of there will probably be second on the list. So, but it all depends on the funding portion of it. So
Mr. Marino was personally very excited that
he
there was
wants,
going to be
he does,
new flooring.
he wants new he at least wants a paint job in his room. So
He
that's
did.
what he
He
really
did
wants.
tell
Yeah,
us that.
so he wants.
Well, they can
so
get that this summer.
that can be done. He might move into a different room. You never know. So.
Oh yeah,
So,
I forgot how many teachers are moving rooms.
well, we have a lot of retirements, so there's a lot of teachers. Those window rooms are very coveted around here, so.
Miss Hanson is
Yeah.
very happy.
I've
She's
been
kidding.
I've been in this room 16 years, I have no windows.
We,
So I had to put t-shirts up.
we were thinking about maybe setting up just a little ring and have a battle royal and see who's the last person standing. In that window. I think we could make some money, people would pay for that.
They would. Students would pay for that.
Easily.
Oh, yeah.
We can pay for the floors that way.
Oh, yeah, funding for that.
Oh yeah. Final question. There was changes to the exam exemptions this year. What was your guys' like process if you guys were a part of that conversation, which I would assume you were? What were like the steps to discussing like the lower grade that you can exempt, and then also the attendance requirement for it?
So I was the one, I actually led the committee. We had a committee of teachers that we've been meeting monthly all year long. The committee was really around exams and grading overall. So we have some grading things that we're looking at that we've got kind of shored up internally. That'll be coming out next year, and then we're working on some other stuff that'll help you guys as students, just how things look in Infinite Campus and alignment and all that. But the exam exemption piece came out of, first of all, that lowering the grade was really a discussion about trying to a little bit more incentivize students who may not be at that top level, but still are working hard, and maybe they're at that really high C, and if they work just a little bit harder, that they could get to that B, right?
Yeah.
And so we wanted to kind of take a look at what that would do this year. Would there be more exemptions because of that? And then look at the data and see are we seeing more exemptions because of the 82? Is it 82%, something like
I
that?
think it's like 82.5.
Yeah, which is the B, right?
Yeah.
So,
It's really, I mean, it really comes down to an equity piece, right?
Right.
You know, I mean, a student could try incredibly hard,
yes.
do all the work, be able to perform, but just not be an A student, right?
Mhm.
So just to say only A students do that. Well, also when you think about it from our lens, and this gets probably too nerdy into the like grading and standards and everything else like that, but when you think about it, if I've shown that I'm proficient at an 80% level, right? That's a pretty good level, right? So if I'm at an 82% or 83% for the class, I've shown proficiency or mastery in 83% of, at least at an 83% level of all the material throughout the course. So why is it necessary then to take a final exam to show you that I still know the material that I proved I already knew, you know? And so that's come somewhat of the piece to that. So there's two sides of it. Actually three sides of it. One is to try and really entice and engage students to get to and strive for that higher level, right? So you, instead of being content with the C, hey, I don't have to come for an exam. Well, let's maybe retake an assessment that maybe I wouldn't have before to show that I know that, and try to really engage students in a way that's intentional on getting them to show their mastery of whatever skill or standard we're trying to address. Is part of it, and then the other part being it should be open to more people, right? And even adding like the freshman one, you know,
Yeah,
and being able to
we
do
had
that,
more opportunities,
right? So like, if what's the difference between a senior with an A and a freshman with an A? Like, why is it so much different between, you know, is a junior A different than a freshman A? Not really, right? It's the same. You're showing at the same levels that you have the skills needed to pass the class, or that you've attained through the class. So those are some of the conversations administratively that we had, and then obviously Mr. Termott did. Yeah, he was very active in leading that group and in that committee with several teachers.
The attendance side is, we have overall our attendance at school is not good. It should be 94, 95% for the student body, and it's not. It's in the upper 80s. And we want, I think it was our way of starting to put some, I guess, I don't know what the right word is, but it means something to come to school.
Yeah,
right?
but give it more purpose.
Yes,
So you show up and you
yes.
do it, and then you can
And
be rewarded.
because I think
There's a one-to-one correlation
Right.
between coming to school, being in class, and performance in class. Like, you do actually have to be in attendance to learn. Like, the number one thing that you learn about when you go to school for teaching and instruction is that you can't learn if you're not paying attention, right? And if you're not there,
Right.
you can't, like, so you're not actually getting that part of it, so.
and so we wanted it to be important enough that you had to have, 90% it's hard, right? But it should be something what everybody strives for, 90% or higher attendance wise. So we really thought that was a great place to start, to see how that works as well. And just to give you guys a heads up and a little scoop there's going to be other things that attendance is going to be a requirement on going forward, because we need that importance of being in school to come back, is really what it is, right? And I don't think we have that issue with you three, but yeah, we need kids to be here, so we can give them the education they deserve, right?
Yeah. Kind of like a follow-up question for, I think it was for freshmen, sophomores, and juniors, that if they did horizon testing, if they did the 2 points better or reached benchmark, they got an extra exemption. Was that just kind of
Process or
Yeah.
Yes, it was absolutely part of the process. It was a kind of a later discussion, because we're really trying to instill the importance of taking those, right? All too often kids come in and just don't care, but it really is about you guys knowing where you're at in your skill levels, your ability levels. Are you in the level that you're able to leave here and go out into the real world and be successful? So we wanted to put a little bit more meaning behind that too.
More motivation.
Right, some motivation to do it. And we didn't really advertise it too much this year because it kind of came in late. I think we made that adjustment in December, even after it started. But we had quite a few kids who actually qualified.
Me personally, I qualified.
There you go. So it is an incentive to try harder on those 3 assessments, right? That's really what we wanted you guys to take that ownership, to see value in it, and this was a way to try to help. Obviously it's our first time around. If we got to tweak some things for next time, we can. And then obviously next year, we'll be able to promote it from the start, so from the first one on, right?
Yeah, and I think it's important too. I think they're important tests. They're important measures, and the where you're at on there kind of can correlate some. They're aligned to ACT and pre-ACT. So seeing where that is and what you need to do in order to get to that point is an important part of just being able to do that. So
Right.
I have to go to another meeting though. So
Okay.
all right.
Okay.
Thank you much.
That was the
Yeah.
final question anyway,
Oh,
so
all
thank you
right.
so
Yeah,
much.
absolutely.
Should I give the kids a scoop on the email that went out, and they can take it to their class? And
It's up to you. So,
you guys want a scoop to take to
Yeah,
their
look,
class?
yeah, I want to hear the tea.
Yeah.
Let's tea.
By Mr. Arndt, thank you.
So I am not going to be an administrator in this building next year.
Oh my god.
So I'm bumping up to the district office to become the head of the safety and attendance coordinator. So that was just sent out like an hour and a half ago.
Oh wow.
I've been down here for 16 years. I'm a little nervous about it, but it's,
Do you get a window?
I don't know yet. I should have known that before I said yes, right?
You know who's getting promoted? Or?
We don't. They'll be posting for the job, and we'll have a new administrator down here. So that's the scoop you can give to your class when you do whatever you do with this.
Thank you.
And
All right.
Oh
for
yeah.
meeting with us.
Thanks.
Yeah, no, it was
so
awesome,
much.
guys. It was awesome.
With all the changes happening in the school, students will want something similar that they can rely on. SMHS sports programs are one thing students love to be a part of at school, and Karma is here to talk to us about the daily life of being a cheerleader.
Hello again. So we have Karma here.
Hey!
Can you introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Karma.
Okay. So I have a couple questions for you.
Yeah.
So how do you like the cheer team?
I really like the cheer team. It's definitely changed over the years. Like, I feel like as you grow to be in the cheer team, you definitely grow to like it more. It's definitely like a family for sure. A family of all girls.
Okay. So how has the cheer team changed your high school experience?
I think it's changed my high school experience because it's definitely changed who I am as a person. It's definitely made me more responsible and like think about school more. It makes me more like able to talk to different girls. Like, I feel like before I was in the cheer team, I feel like I couldn't like walk up to anybody and talk to them. I feel like now, I feel like it definitely makes me more of a cheery person. Like, I feel like like we were playing softball the other day and she needed cheerleaders, and I feel like we definitely brought the energy, and I feel like I wasn't like nervous or scared to just be on the side dancing. It just makes me doesn't care. Like not that nothing matters, but things don't matter like that. Like, they don't care if you're on the side dancing or like having fun. Like, it makes you live more. It makes you like care, like just have a careless mind.
I'm happy for you, period. Okay. So I know you mentioned that there was a lot of changes. What are some of the changes that are coming to cheer?
We started off my first year we had 7 girls. Last year we had 9 girls. That's a little bit different, but we started off with like 20 or something. Like, that's the difference. The biggest difference is each year there's been more girls on the team. This year, I think we had like 30 girls try out. There were so many girls try out. And like the cheer atmosphere has changed because it's changed from senior to senior. Like the first year seniors, I feel like they were definitely a little bit more strict, or like they just had a different personality. Like they weren't more engaging with everybody. And then last year, I think that they were more like talkative to us, but it was just like they were more caring about the sport than them like actually getting to know us. And I feel like this year we are the head captains, so we went around and talked to each and every girl. Like I feel like that's the difference. Like we made sure that somebody was there for you, or if you were lost or you were behind, that somebody was there to make sure that you weren't by yourself or you didn't feel like you couldn't get it.
Okay, so it's really changing for the better. That's nice.
Yeah.
So what are you looking forward to for the next year's cheer team?
I'm looking forward to being a head captain, like I was saying before. I'm looking forward to being able to have control. Like, we were supposed to do team bonding every month, and like we did it during the summer, but then once school started, like I think things just got a little chaotic, and it was really hard for us to like put it together. But I think that like doing more team bonding, doing more things where you like bonding with the team is very important, because you don't want to like take these girls like an hour away. You're gonna be in a bus, you guys don't like each other, like it's a bad atmosphere when you don't like talk to everybody. But like when you do team bonding and stuff, it's just like it's easier for you to talk to everybody, or like for you to be paired up with a random girl, or like I don't know, like I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to having 2 routines, because last year we were supposed to have 2 different types of routines and we only ended up with 1, and this year she said for sure we'd have 2, and that's really exciting to learn 2 routines at a time. Like I don't know. Yeah.
Okay. Can you tell me what a typical day of cheer practice looks like, so like other students can get to know what to expect if they do join?
So, okay, I'm gonna just start. So, normally me and my friends get there first. So, you get there, you put your cheer shoes on. We normally like put our phones and like there's like drinks at our table, like a little cafeteria table. Then we have to roll out the mats. Then we normally have to roll out all 9 mats. We roll out the mats. Then sometimes we normally have like time to talk in between that. Then we stretch, like doing like ones where we're standing, and then we sit down and we stretch, and then we do jumps, and then we work on our routine, we do like cheers and dances for like football games and basketball games, and then we work on our routine for competition. And that's like sometimes we have like little sit downs. Oh, and at the every day after practice, Jesse gives words of inspiration.
Oh, that's nice. I love how the cheer team is changing.
Yes.
That's really nice. Thank you for answering all of my questions. It was a
Yes,
pleasure to
no
talk
problem.
to you. Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Okay.
We will discuss retirement plans with some long-serving teachers who have been with the district for nearly 20 years, as several teachers and staff are leaving this year.
Hey, Mr. Schilling. Hello. So, we have a couple questions for you. Okay. So, what are you looking forward to for retirement?
I'm looking forward to have more free time to do what I want to do.
What's your favorite memory?
Boy, my favorite memory, that's a tough one. It's been quite a long time. I have a lot of fond memories of my athletes succeeding, like a lot of different ones.
Yeah. How long have you been working here again?
33 years.
3 years, okay. What are you planning on doing?
Whatever I want. I plan on golfing a lot more. I plan on, just traveling a lot. Yeah, have some few trips planned already.
You plan on hanging out with any teachers for your retirement?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I have a lot of friends on staff. You know, we'll hang out for sure.
Can I guess which one it is?
If you'd like. I mean, I have a lot of friends.
Mr. Robertson.
Mr. Robertson's one, yeah, but McCarty. A lot of the retirees, right? We all have been working together for decades, so we know each other very well.
What made you last so long here? here for so long?
I don't know. South Milwaukee's a pretty nice place to be. You know, I think a lot of people take it for granted, so that's too bad. But yeah, I mean, we have our ups and our downs like anywhere, but yeah, it's a pretty nice community. I like specifically moved here so I could raise my kids here.
What made you want to become a chemistry teacher?
That's a good question. I really like the way that things work, and I like to find out, like, you know, how. And when you get right down to it, that gets down to like the atomic level. So, yeah.
Well, it was nice having a conversation with you. You guys have anything else to add on?
No? All right, you guys. Well, good luck with your podcast.
Thank you.
So we're speaking with Mr. Riggins. How are you doing, Mr. Riggins?
I'm well, thank you.
Oh, that's great. So we're gonna ask you a couple questions, like I said. So what made you want to become a teacher? Or what made you want to become a history teacher?
Okay, that's
a better
okay.
question.
Well, throughout my childhood, you know, when I was as a kid at the dinner table, we talked about, you know, politics and history every day. So there's been throughout my family. So my father was an attorney. I'm the youngest kid, so my brother who was 9 years older than me. You know, history and politics was a part of our life, our daily discussions. My brother became a teacher himself. My brother taught in Sun Prairie, Wisconsin. So I think that influenced me quite a bit. And then also my experience I went to high school in South Milwaukee. I had a lot of mentors here, you know, teachers and coaches that really wanted me to you know, teach in high school, and this history's always been a passion of mine. Coaching's always been a passion of mine as well. So I think that would be why I wanted to teach at the high school level. I never thought about like teaching in middle school. Definitely not elementary. Middle school behavior, it drives me nuts. Yeah, high school is where I wanted to be.
Okay, that's a great answer. So what are you looking forward for retirement?
It's really weird. It's like, you know, I've been trying to reflect on that. And it's kind of, I mean, I've been doing this like teaching since I was like 22 years old, right?
Yeah.
So it's been a long, I mean, it's been a long, so what am I looking forward to? I guess having some more time to travel a little bit. I do want to golf and fish more. I do want to not, like, you know, like coming up like Sundays, where Sundays I've always been working on lesson plans, grading, all that stuff. So that, you know, having some more of that time. Yeah, and I also, I mean, I do want, you know, I do want to do something part-time. I just don't know what it's going to be, but I think, but the top three things, if you press me on it, one, to travel, golf, and fish. Those are my three things.
I love that for you.
Yeah.
Okay. So can you tell us about one of your favorite memories with a student or staff?
Well, let's start on, when you say staff, I'm going to focus on the following individuals. You know, Heather Hansen, Eric Richards, Aaron Callender, you know, Pat McCarty, Jim Grasso. We've been together for a minimum of 25 years together. So I mean, so we really had, you know, we've had a lot of strong bond. We are not only like colleagues, and we're really good friends. And we've had so many laughs, we've bonded on so many things. You know, so we've had a lot of things have changed in our time together. You know, from there's some political pieces that have affected our job, but we've always stuck together. And I think that is what I'll talk about. Staff, students. That's tough. I would say, and not like having one specific person, but I would say like I've had numerous students who I've always enjoyed the relationship piece. And it's one of the reasons why I wanted to become a high school teacher, because I think in high school you can have kind of like adult level conversations, and I've always appreciated it. And not only just one student, but there were building relationship with my students. I think that's always, I always felt like if you don't have that, then I don't know whether your students or your student or students aren't going to be successful in your classroom. So I think that's what, like, in general, I know it's, I don't know if that's what you want, but I think that's what I'll remember the most. I will say, if you press me on one thing, one student I'm really super proud of, and you know, it's because I was a basketball coach here for a long time. You know, Trey McKinney Jones became a professional basketball player. He played. He had a little like a 10-day contract with the Indiana Pacers, but he's had a really successful career in Japan. And as good as a player as he is, he's a better person. And I'm just just super proud of what he has done and how he's really represented South Milwaukee in that way. It's awesome.
Yeah, I know you said that you wanted to go on vacation. Are you looking to go out of the country or?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, I know.
Where are you trying to go?
I will have a return trip to Ireland is definitely going to be in there, but I also would like to go to I'd like to go to Italy. I'd like to go go down to Australia. You know, I want to go back to Mexico.
Nice.
You know, I just there's a lot of places I would like to see. Trying to think if there's I have a friend of mine that lives in Thailand, and he tells me how wonderful it is. I would like to see what like life is like in the Far East, you know, and see what so Thailand would be on my radar as well. Yeah,
That's nice.
yeah.
Have you ever been to the DR? No?
Dominican Republic one time, yeah. I've been to DR, yep. I've been to Dominican Republic, had a great time. I've been to the Dominican Republic. I've been to Jamaica. I've mentioned Mexico, but yeah, the Dominican Republic was amazing.
Okay, well, that's all the questions I have for you, and I hope you have a great retirement.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, so.
It's going to be unique. It's going to be different. It's just right now when I thinking the second last week here, it's kind of like it's just super weird.
It's humbling, you know.
It's like setting in finally.
Yeah, it's kind of settling. I've never been a day counter, like how many days you got left, but now it's like, geez, yeah. Now it's like, man, yeah, it's getting real, and and I think it's the right decision, but there's a lot I'll miss.
Okay.
Yeah.
I hope you have some fun, hang out with your teacher friends, you know.
Yeah. That's one thing I mentioned that to them last week. We gotta stay in contact.
Yeah, you guys gotta go out to brunch or something.
Yeah.
Have something
for
like
sure.
that.
Yep.
The South Milwaukee High School just had the biggest concert in the PAC's history. To celebrate the 20th year anniversary, we commissioned a 4-movement piece from Zachary J. Moore called One Art. The song you just heard was called Alive. This concert lasted 2 days. Mrs. Swanson, could you tell us more about this?
Sure. So we started this idea last spring. So spring of 2024, we did a huge choir concert that highlighted all of the movers and shakers in Wisconsin for fair housing and things like that. So one of Wisconsin's big civil rights workers, Margaret Rosga, came because we honored her husband, Father Groppe, and she is a Wisconsin Poet Laureate. So we started in the spring of 2024 having her come and help our students write poetry that we could possibly maybe use if we found a composer who would do this. Then I went and searched for composers, and Shaw and I settled on Zachary Moore because he was from Wisconsin, he's local. There were 2 other composers I had reached out for, but when we had the interview with Zachary Moore, I kind of laid out my vision that I wanted something to celebrate music and art and dance. And when we were writing poetry, it was like music was present, art was the future, and dance was the past. And could he come up with something and work with us in our poetry? And he said yes. So the second time Margaret Rosga came, we collected all of the poetry from band, choir, orchestra students, and we sent it to Margaret Rosga. She kind of combed through all of it and said, here are the things that I think are quality. Here's what you could mix together. And we shared that document with Margaret Rosga and then Zachary Moore. So we had this poet help us, and then the composer took that music. So starting in the summer of 2024, he and I kept texting back and forth about this whole process. He decided that he could envision the first movement being called Alive with Genevieve Schramm's poem. So he took that, and that was our starting spot. We had talked with a different person to maybe come in and do some choreography for the dance and movement too. So the composer had something written, and that vision none of us felt comfortable with it. So I was having coffee in the coffee shop on a Saturday morning and texting back and forth again with Zachary Moore, and I just wrote some things about what I felt about dance and the history and how you're connected and the earth has no borders, and I just wrote things down, and he goes, "That's it! I can do something with that. I have a vision now." So he actually went movement 1, movement 3, and then movement 2 in his composing process. And then movement 3, when I was in college, I had this dream of having animated art while music was happening. And it wasn't until January 2024 that I went to choral director conference, and there was this composer there, and she said, "Hey, there's this program in this company, and this is what I did with Da Vinci's Notebook and my piece with a full orchestra and choir, and you animate it and time it to the score and it comes to life." And I'm like, "Oh, that was literally my dream from college." And so I contacted that company in the summer and early fall of 2024. Zachary Moore didn't feel that any of our poetry spoke to him for the art piece enough to make a full song out of it. So he did love Devin Davis's little words about art will guide us through the unseen, but he couldn't put an entire movement to that. So he sent the art department and the music department different poems and said, "Hey, which of these do you feel works with your kids and would speak to you and speaks to your students? I can envision writing music for either one of these poems." And it turns out that we chose the poem from James Weldon Johnson, who wrote Lift Every Voice and Sing. That was tied deeply to that spring concert that we did where Margaret Rosga was there. So it was like all these little loose ends are just tying themselves and weaving themselves together. So we chose that. Then he did a little YouTube video about what he's thinking with it, sent it the poem, and sent his video of his vision to the art department, and the students then created art on that poem and what some of his little musical mind worms were. They sent that all into the company. We had to have it in before spring break. And then the company took our score, took the MIDI of it, put this together, sent us the rough draft. We said, "Hey, here's the entire vision." They came back to us and said, "What if we altered it this way a little bit?" And then they sent us a final draft of that. And then movement 4 is tying all the 3 pieces together, plus talking about art taking us into the future and creating a oneness with it, using Devin's words. So it was supposed to be a 3-movement piece, but we added a 4th movement.
Mr. Shaw, how did you feel being the conductor of a whole bunch of students with 3 different classes and a choir along with it?
Yeah, I mean, the challenge wasn't so much the 3 different classes. It's that, each band is 2 different classes, each orchestra is 2 different classes, and the choir is 2 different classes, but I never work with the choir. So just making sure I'm being consistent, getting through all the stuff equally with each group, and making sure that the younger students are up to speed with the older students, because it's a 9-12, no one's sitting out, right? And then, honestly, it's a little nerve-wracking because we didn't get a full rehearsal with everybody until the day of. So a couple hours before showtime, we are putting everyone together without really knowing how it's going to go. But I think, being so intentional and aware of how we need to prepare, knowing that everyone is separate on the lead up, really provided for us to be on the same page that day. So once we got it all together, honestly, after the first maybe 15, 20 minutes of the first movement, I was really happy with where we were going. I knew that it was going to be good. Not because of like any sort of luck, just because I was pretty sure how we had done a few check-ins with running chamber orchestra and concert choir together, knowing that at least piano and conductor and choir were all on the same page. But when we got everybody in there, seeing how that fit together, just fixing some balance here and there, honestly, it's really fun. We went through it today for the first time since the show, and it's just fun. It's just really fun to be a part of that. It was a little bit more pressure when you're actually doing the world premiere, but I think now revisiting it and being able to do these encore performances next week, it's just really rewarding, and it's really fun to be able to share it with more people and show how good we sound.